music producers? It's Curtis King and CurtisKingBeats.com, and you're watching another episode of Critique My Beats. This is the show where you send in your beats and I give you honest critiques meant to build your empire up and not burn your building down. For those of you that want to get your beats critiqued in a future episode, what you want to do is go to CritiqueMyBeats.com. Go ahead and follow the instructions there. Read a little bit of information about what this actually is. Please send in MP3s. Don't send me crazy formats, MP3s. As of right now, we got 4 producers who decided to take that opportunity, and the first of which being Benjamin, who I believe his actual producer name is not included, but I believe it's Green Monster Music. So he says, website is still being worked on. That introvert producer you talk about who's been making music for over a decade, but the introvert in me has always kept me from networking and chasing my passion and calling. Was very hard to choose just 2 beats out of a catalog of over 300. Looking forward to what you have to say about them. So, introverted producer, we've all been there at some point in time. I know y'all probably like, Curtis, you ain't never been introverted. Yes, I have. This is part of what my name stands for. When I was in middle school, I was super insecure. When I conquered those insecurities at Curtis Middle School, I became Curtis King. A little backstory, but anyways, I understand how it is. First of all, I'd say props to you, Green Monster Music, for even putting your music out there. It takes a lot to go ahead and put your stuff on the gauntlet. Let's get to 1 beat. You left us 2 beats. So the first one is called Control, and the other one is called Real Nigga. Yeah, that was an interesting beat. I don't think I've heard anything since I've been doing these episodes. I don't think I've heard anything quite like that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's actually good to know that you are approaching music, trying to have your own sound, a sound that I think that although we can hear the trap elements and influences within it, it is still a sound that you can call your own. My favorite part of this beat is probably sort of that dreamy synthesizer in the background that almost sounds like bells that you got going on. It gives me like some really nostalgic feelings. Like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Edward Scissorhands, but it kind of reminds me of one of the scenes where he was wilding out and he was like cutting ice into shapes, whatever. Don't mind that, but that's what it kind of reminds me of, and that's why I probably hear it more so for like an independent film or even for like some sync licensing, maybe for a video game, like an online video game is what I see it for. I don't necessarily hear an artist over it, although maybe some of you guys in the comments can see who you imagine over this control beat. The synth that you had, the leading synth, that in the chorus, it was a bit much on the ears. And I think it's because it's a sound that you didn't really touch up. You didn't really add too many effects to it, too much reverb to it, and I think it's a sound that's going to make it a hard sell if you're pushing this off for placement. So I would experiment with some more sounds, or even run that actual high synthesizer through a reverb and then just take away you know, sort of the presence of the actual sound and just have it to where it just feels more airy and less direct. For the drums, I would say more percussion in the background would be necessary for me. I probably would like to hear maybe like some clap triplets, or just some you know, some extra type of hi-hats, some cymbals. Just more drum work would be necessary for me if I was actually working on this beat with you. The next thing I would say is that 808 in certain portions of the verse does feel us out of key, and it doesn't actually end on a period. And what I mean is that it doesn't complete the phrase. Like doom, doom, doom. There's not like that satisfaction of an end of that loop where it's doom, doom, doom. Like, it doesn't have that. It just seems like it kind of goes with the flow of the melody, but does not necessarily have a period like the melody has. For the most part, those are the only critiques that I had of it thus far. Let's go to the next one, which is called Real Nigga. Hey.
Green Monster Music.
Okay, Green Monster Music. So you gave us another trap beat, and I'm starting to hear some similarities between both of these beats. The first thing that pops out to me, the kick arrangement is probably my favorite part about this beat. The placement of sort of like those 3 kicks in a row, the way that that sounded together gave it a unique bounce, and I think that that's what people are looking for, rappers are looking for, as they're thinking about how can I approach this beat, what can I do differently with this. I think that that's a great inspiration for a rapper to want to do something different with their flow. So that is definitely a highlight. One thing that I missed from the last critique of Control, the other beat, is that your snare. I think your snare needs some more EQing. I think you need to really pay attention more so to the type of snares that you're choosing, just the overall sound selection. I think for both of them, I think it sounds like you're kind of messing with either, you know, recording raw sounds from a keyboard straight into your DAW, or you're actually using sort of the stock sound DAWs. I think you have great ideas in certain places melodically, but if you don't have the EQing or sound design to sort of take away us judging the quality of the instruments, you run into the risk of these beats sounding dated. You run into the risk of people not understanding what the message is of the beats. You may hear something in your head that has perfect quality, and this becomes the best representation of that to you, but for anybody else, I'm listening to this, and even with the vocal sample on this, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I love putting vocal samples, especially acapella rap hooks, but you know, I think that that time in hip-hop has passed, or not even just hip-hop, but in music has passed, at least in this wave that's going on right now. You don't really hear too many beats that have sort of the chop vocals in the chorus, and as I'm listening to it, I'm like, it's going to be a hard sell for beat leasing. I think it's a hard sell for trying to send it off for placement. I think that right now the focus should be, you got over 300 beats, the focus should be getting higher quality synthesizer VSTs, drum kits. I definitely, if I was you, I would sign up for a Splice account. And no, that's not a commercial. I'm just saying that's where you get some high quality sounds at a hell of a bargain, and you're able to get the sounds that you probably are hearing in your head, but they're not necessarily translating out to the beats that you're making. Either way, it took a lot for you to go ahead and put your stuff out there to be critiqued, not just by me, but by the audience. And so we're going to get your information. You left us with an Instagram, and it's at GMM Music. All right, let's go to the next producer. The next producer, Prodigy. Hey there, Curtis. What's up, brother? Hope you and your family are doing well. Thank you. I've submitted 3 beats. Hear me out. Since you have an average listen to 1 minute and 36 seconds of these anyways, I calculated the amount of time you should listen to each one, and it adds up to 3 minutes and 12 seconds on the dot. Haha, sorry for this. I just want to maximize the amount of feedback I got. There was no higher option than the 2 drum packs. I hope you enjoy. I don't think I've ever had anybody tell me how much of the beat I should listen to, but nah, we're doing 2 beats. I'm sorry, my friend. There's always somebody that's gonna try to bend the rules on it, brother. 2 beats, man. Just 2 beats. That's all we ask. I'm gonna pick the first two that you chose. You sent me waves too, my friend. First one's called Cosmic Ascendance. Super dope, man. I don't know why you feel the need to have to squeeze 3 beats into this email. You got fire. You have fire. 2 would have been just good enough, my friends. I enjoy the melodic potential that a writer has to really create something special with this beat. I think a writer would definitely be able to hear different pockets to sing in, because this could be something where you have a singer on the hook or you have a singer that just dominates the entire beat. The mix on it was very clean. I enjoyed how you put all the elements together. The hi-hats were definitely crispy and coming through very present. The snare definitely gave you a good feeling. I would say that the string arrangement that came every once in a while was an excellent touch to it. That's definitely kudos to your arrangement. And the sound design was on point as well. So, I mean, these are the things that you look for when you're looking to definitely get your music placed. Yeah, excellent work on that. All right, let's go to the next beat, which is Glass Vacation. Okay, that was Glass Vacation, another definitely melodic trap beat. I think that you would definitely send something like this to one of like the melodic trap R&B singers, whether it's a Black, whether it's a Bryson Tiller. First thing I would say is I would like to hear more sub in the 808s. That is the warmth of this beat, especially for R&B type vibes like this. That is the warmth of the beat. You're gonna have to have that. The lead sound, you kind of took the same route as the last beat in that the lead sound was very monotonous. And it just kind of flowed all the way through. Although like it can be hypnotic at parts, it's one of those sounds where it becomes a bit harsh after a minute and 10 seconds of listening. This is why I try to do a minute and 30 seconds of a beat. You learn a lot more about a beat in those 1 minute and 30 seconds than a minute like you're trying to push me down to. No. This beat, I get to learn more and more about it the more I listen to it, and more about your style actually too. I would say that this beat sort of started exposing maybe some of the VSTs that you're using, you got to have some higher quality VSTs, or you're going to have to go in on the FX for this, on the plugins and the reverbs. But that lead sound would have been interesting to hear, sort of a low pass filter put on that. I would have liked some of the effort that you put into Cosmic Ascendance sound design put onto this glassification. I think that would have been something that made it special. But there it is. You left us with your SoundCloud link. Look, man, I'm sorry we didn't get to the third beat, but come on, man. Rules is the rules, man. That's why I put them out there and I lay them out before you pay for them. SoundCloud link is soundcloud.com/Prodigy Official. All right, let's go to the next producer. ZJ. What's up, Curtis? I'm 18. Just started making beats a few weeks ago. You're the best producer on YouTube, and I'm blessed to be given the opportunity. I'll soon be posting beat videos on YouTube once I get my tag. Hope you enjoy this beat. Super dope, ZJ. There's a lot of producers out there on YouTube who are super crazy and super dope, so I appreciate those props. But you just getting started a few weeks ago, man. You don't need critiques. You need beats. I would say for starters, man, just get to cooking, brother. I appreciate you investing in this. Obviously, I appreciate it, but you just got to get to cooking, my friend. There ain't nothing better than those lessons you learn in the beginning. You don't want to get too much feedback in the very beginning because you're going to rob yourself of the natural process of finding your own way. Either way, I would love to give you some critiques that maybe can give you additional lessons along the way, but you're going to learn a lot more from experience than you will from this critique. I'll just be completely 100 with you. But you left us with a beat called Sundown. Let's listen to it.
So funky, man.
ZJ, you gave us a very soulful production. This is definitely something great to hear from an 18-year-old, that you are in touch with the soul within music. I would say the first thing that stands out for me, of course, is the sample. I enjoy that sample. I enjoy the kick. The kick actually had a really good mix on it. I like the kick. I like the way it kind of sidechained the sample. Now, the critiquing that I have is that the bass just doesn't feel present at all. It just seems like it's probably a bass loop, or maybe like a bass that you kind of are fiddling around with the keys. It doesn't sound like you're too sure about some of the melodic decisions you're making. It doesn't sound like you're sure about, like, should this go here? Should this go here? And that comes with hesitation. It comes with inexperience. Also, too, that piano in the background, although you were kind of like trying to hide it, I feel like you were trying to hide it because it was out of key. Also, that string instrument, that you got to send that through a reverb. Right now, it's hella dry. It's like drier than the corner of my hand right now. You need to make sure you put some reverb on there just to give it more space. You know, experiment with those plugins that come with whatever program that you're using. Experiment more with those and just see what they do. Do some research as you go along. See what is the actual purpose of having reverb. What is the actual purpose of putting flangers on certain sounds? Because I think that would have been an interesting effect, even for the vocal sample that you use. Certain parts, putting a low pass filter and putting a flanger. Just look it up, because honestly, your arrangement sounds great. I enjoyed that for somebody who's just getting started. You know where the drop should come in. You know where it starts to feel like it's a little bit too monotonous. You have a great attention to detail. You're only going to get better from here, my friend. Thank you for sending that beat off. Your YouTube channel is ZJ. Twitter is ZJ. IG is ZJ. All right, let's go to another producer. I think your name is Mainception. What up, Curtis? Big fan. Thank you for all the content. It's super helpful for us producers. Thank you for that, first of all. No problem. I just got started with my business and building my brand on YouTube and with my website. I'm hoping to get some good critique on my beat, and hopefully you like it. So this one, I'm sending you one of my newer beats, which is also on my website and YouTube channel, of course. I wouldn't really call it a type beat, but since that's my branding strategy, I decided to label it as a Drake type beat, since I feel it's very different from everything else on there these days, and Drake changes his sound a lot and is very versatile. The beat is inspired by today's trap generation, but it has some different elements to it. The beat is called Running Man. Okay, cool. You left us with your website, Instagram, and Facebook. Let's listen to Running Man. Okay, Mainception. You left us with a very bouncy beat, a beat that had a very unique bounce. I would say for starters, since you mentioned that first, I don't think you need to make this a tight beat. I think that I don't really hear Drake on this, even though I could hear him doing a feature pretty much on everything. I don't really hear Drake on this one. I think you would benefit more, and it's something for all producers too, is that don't feel like you have to make a name or find a rapper to be on that beat. Sometimes the play is not always a rapper type beat. Sometimes the play is chill, ambient trap beat, emotional piano sad beat. Sometimes that's another play as well, because really what you're trying to do is leverage high-ranking SEO terms. So in a situation like this, some of the terms that I would probably use instead of a type beat, rapper type beat, I would call it a chill trap beat, an ambient bouncy trap beat, emotional synthesizer trap beat, because these are all terms that rappers are searching for, because some of them are not looking for the music of someone else. They're looking for a certain vibe, and hopefully by searching these terms, they'll come across your beat is what they're hoping. So I would really approach that when it comes to your business from that particular angle. The critiques that I have for this beat, I would say that the snare, I'm kind of on the fence about, because the snare is actually an interesting twist, and the snare does definitely give a beat its character. And this kind of had, like, the more I listened to it, the more it kind of grew on me, because at first I was like, oh man, get the snare out of here. But then as I listened to it, I was like, no, this is kind of interesting. So it started to grow on me. I'm gonna kind of leave it at that. That's your interpretation of whatever character you want that beat to have by picking that snare. I would say the kick definitely needs a little bit more treatment. You want to find a thumpier kick that just cuts through the mix, especially for a beat that is this bouncy. You need a kick that's just going to cut through that mix and just punch you right in the chest and make a man out of somebody. That's what you want. Also, too, this is very cosmetic, but bring the hi-hats up and do some more tweaking, because I need to get the satisfaction of hearing those mid to high frequencies if you're going to use them. But other than that, I enjoy the particular bounce on this one. You did a great job on this one. So, Running Man, that's the one. You left us with your information. Your website is mainceptionproductions.com. You got your Instagram and your Facebook here. Sweet. Music producers, you just watched another episode of Critique My Beats. If you want to get your beats critiqued in a future episode, go to critiquemybeats.com and you can find information about what exactly it is that you're getting here. As you'll see, there's a few different packages you could choose from, and once you find the one that fits what you're looking for, go on ahead and send it through. We'll get your beats. You'll get some instructions in the email, and we'll get to it as soon as possible, my friend. Producers, thank you so much for watching today and every day that you tune into this YouTube channel, Curtis King TV. Once again, it's Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com. Peace. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com.